Hi, my name is Laurie, and I struggle with bipolar disorder type 2 and borderline personality disorder. So I want to talk about hypomania. And I want to talk about how it really feels to be hypomanic, because I hear people sometimes say things like, oh, I wished I were a little hypomanic. I'd love to have that energy and be that happy. Well, the problem is what they don't understand is that at that particular time, we're not in control of our emotions. So we might be extremely happy at a very inappropriate time. So I want to give two examples of when I was hypomanic and when I was extremely hypomanic. So the first was my dad's funeral. Now, I loved my dad more than anything in the world. He was definitely the most important person to me, and I trusted him. So when he died, of course, I was absolutely devastated. But the day of his funeral, I was hypomanic. So what did that look like? Well, instead of me standing at the front with everybody else and calmly talking to people as they came by to give their condolences, you would have thought that I had front row seats to a Bruno Mars concert and backstage passes. Or you would have thought that I had scored tickets and was on the front row 50-yard line for the Super Bowl. I was so excited, so revved up, so happy. Everything was so extreme. And I remember that I couldn't sit still, and I just kept wandering around everywhere and was like, oh my gosh, hi, how are you doing? Oh my gosh, it is so good to see you. Oh, how are the kids doing? What's going on with your life? I mean, it seemed like I was at a party, like I was at some really exciting, happy event. And I wasn't. I was at my dad's funeral, and it was embarrassing and it was humiliating. So when you are hypomanic, you are not in control of your thoughts. And it's like this: I don't think and then speak. I don't think and then act or react, okay? So my brain and the adrenaline in my body are going so fast that I act or react, and then afterwards I think about it and I think, oh, whew, thank goodness I said that, that was good. Or, oh no, I can't believe I said or did that. So this is an extreme illustration, but just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, let's say you walked into your kitchen and you realized you had left the stove on and the burner was bright orange, and you thought, oh wow, I can't believe I left the burner on. That is really hot. I need to turn that off and make sure everybody stays away from it and realizes that it's hot, okay? If you are in a hypomanic state and you are so revved up and hyped up and kind of crazy, and your thought process is not working right, you may walk over to the stove, touch the stove, and then jump back because it's hot and be like, oh no, why did I just touch that? I can't believe I just did that. I should have seen that. I should have known it was hot. I should have turned the stove off, and I should have walked away. That's how extreme it can be when you act before you think. Okay, so let me give you an example of a really extreme case of hypomania where I ended up needing medication to actually bring me back down to earth. So my mom, my brother, and I all went to a casino to stay Christmas Eve and Christmas night. We stayed a total of 3 nights. Now, I took $2,500 because I knew, like, we're gonna be there for a couple of days. I don't wanna run out of money. I wanna have fun, okay? Well, the night before we went on our trip, I was so excited and so hyped up that I couldn't sleep. Well, that sounds kind of normal for some people. If you're going on a trip, you may get like that. The problem was the next day we pulled up to the casino and we had valet parking. Well, I was so excited. I love valet parking. Oh my gosh, isn't this wonderful? This is so great. I feel so wealthy right now. And then we get into the room. Oh my gosh, I love this room. Look at this shower. Look at this big tub. I can't wait to take a bath in this tub. And then it was, let's get out to the casino floor. Oh my gosh, look at all these machines. Oh my gosh, look at the lights. Listen to the noise. And that's the thing. when I am really hypomanic, my senses are heightened. I see better, I hear better, and I smell better. My senses are heightened. Things I normally would not be able to hear, I can hear. Everything looks bigger and brighter and more beautiful and spectacular, okay? So then I got on the floor and I started playing. Well, I won $1,200 almost immediately. And then I went to another couple of machines and I won $600, I won $700. So I had plenty of money for the next 3 days. There shouldn't have been any problem at all. The problem is I just kept getting more excited and I kept hitting max bet and I couldn't sleep at night. So I was down on the floor all night long. And I remember at 4 a.m. one night, I kept thinking, why can't I stop pushing this button? Why can't I stop pushing this button? I need to stop pushing this button, but I literally couldn't. It was like something else had taken over and I could not stop. I would go up to the room, I would try my best to calm down, I would try to get sleep, couldn't sleep. So I, of course, started running out of money. So I started going to the ATM machine, getting money out of that. And so when I finally hit my limit, I went over to the cashier's cage and I had them get the money out for me. Well, that wasn't enough. I still ran out. So I went and asked my brother to borrow money from him, and he said no. He said, you had plenty of money, you don't need mine. And I'm like, I started an argument. Well, he was worried that we were going to get in trouble, so he handed me some money. Well, I ran out of that. Well, I had $5,000 in an emergency savings account. And that was all the money I had. And that was in case the car broke down or I needed to go to the dentist. I mean, that was for emergencies. Well, I transferred it over to my checking account and I started going over to the cashier's cage and I started getting money out of there. I remember at one point, even the cashier was like, hun, you just got money out of here. Like, you were just here a few minutes ago. I know she was feeling bad and trying to help. But I was like, but hey, but it's my last night and I'm having so much fun and it's so exciting and I'm going home tomorrow and I'm not about to go to my room right now. And so she gave me the money. Well, of course, I went through all of that, and then there was the inevitable shame walk and feeling miserable because I had run out of money and had to go back to my room. And of course, I still couldn't sleep that night. Well, by the next day, when I realized what I had done, I was aggravated at my brother for not stopping me. And I went home and I remembered, Lori, you're hypomanic. Like, you have emergency medicine for this. And I took medicine and it brought me down. Well, then of course I had the inevitable shame and guilt. And how could you do that? Why would you do that? How could you be so stupid? And the fear of, you don't have any money in the bank. You have nothing in case of an emergency. What are you gonna do? So see, hypomania is not necessarily fun. Hypomania can be embarrassing and humiliating, and it can actually be destructive. It can actually harm you. So hypomania is not something that I wish for myself. When I start getting hypomanic, I get scared. I don't like the feeling. I don't like that not being in control of my emotions and not thinking before I speak or before I act. And luckily I have medicine now. I usually catch it ahead of time, and I usually take my medicine and it doesn't get that bad. And now if I go to a casino, I have a very limited budget. I know that I have to play the smaller bets because I leave my debit cards and my checks and everything at home where I don't have access to it. So anyway, that's my story of hypomania. I hope it helps. Thank you for watching. Bye.